So what I hear you saying is you're not using the word identity theft in the typical nefarious way. You're using the term identity theft in a much broader context, which is your identity is being used in ethical and non-ethical ways that that basically subvert your data dignity, for lack of a better term.
I mean, we could be splitting hairs here. I think identity theft, ultimately, there's a crime that's being involved, right? It's not accidental, right?
No.
The idea of having like essentially 360 views of individuals without their knowledge. I mean, that's a business, right? Those are businesses. And I mean, there's all kinds of companies that do this stuff. They're aggregators and a number of them in the medical space. And they use intermediaries to essentially collect nuggets of information, and they kind of create their own proprietary schema, I feel like, and then they sell that, And again, most people are unaware of this. It's a huge, huge business. But the reality of all of this is that, I don't think there's way better ways around this, right? I remember from my days at the CDC, instead of paying lots of money to aggregators, it would have been a whole lot better, cleaner data, much more engaging to work with patients or representatives of patients directly than getting, dirty data you paid a lot of money for from, a few aggregators. That's just one example, but I think it's just getting more and more, it's a much bigger problem now. It's a much bigger picture just because there's so much that's happening on the data side. But I think that the other side of this, and we're going to talk about this, is that the regulators have kind of woken up. I think that there's a lot more regulatory awareness of what's happening, even if individuals like you and I may still not pay attention to it. I think more of us are, just because it's conversation as an example. But regulators, and again, we just saw this, I think last week, Amazon was fined $887 million by the EU for all kinds of data violations related to the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulations. So the whole idea then ultimately is that none of this is a surprise. I mean, this is not like, you and I just uncovered this, but I think, it's time to address it because, this is a massive both ethical as well as economical situation that if out of control can impact all of us.